What's up, guys? Welcome to Among the Fence, my YouTube channel writing music reviews. My name is Aaron, and today we're going to be talking about the new album Upright Animals by the band Dragged Under. Upright Animals is the second studio album release from the punk rock band since its conception in around 2019. Dragged Under has like this weird history to it because they rose up from the ashes from the band that was Rest Repose, which was Jared Dines' band back in the day, until Jared Dines left in 2019, where they changed up the sound, all the members, and the name of the band as well. And I saw Rest Repose mid-2019, just before they broke up, and Tony Capocci, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, was the bass player, but he stepped up to do vocals, and he said he would rather be making music that has more energy and more intensity to it, and I believe that Dragged Under satisfies that itch for him. The album opens up with a title track song, Upright Animals, which I believe is about people acting like animals, and it even asks the question if we're humans or if we're beasts now, which kind of sets the tone for the theme of this whole album. And the vocals sound so good in the verse with a staticky riff, and the chorus is big with a lot more vocal presence to it. Verse 2 has this kind of like pop punk vibe thing from the riff and the drums, and then there's this unexpected guitar solo that comes in just before a melodic bridge, finishing off with two choruses. And then we have my favorite song on the album, which is All of Us, which is about being stuck in your head with thoughts of anxiety and not really being able to get out of it. And it goes between distorted and clean vocals, and it sounds so good with this like easy core sounding music going on behind it. And the sing-along nature of the chorus actually has great emotion, and it sounds fantastic. And the metaphors specifically in the chorus are just fantastic as well. And the breakdown solo thing sounds pretty chaotic, kind of like there's a lot of just chaos going on in your head. And the theme of the song just works so well, and the lyrics are just so well written. It's just a fantastic piece. Then we have the song Never Enough, which reminds me of something Jimmy Eat World would do. It's mostly drums and vocals, and the verse is the conversation style lyrics tells of someone struggling with just being accepted. And the chorus is super catchy, but kind of predictable, but also sort of vulnerable. So I enjoyed it quite a bit. And the vocal isolation in the final chorus, along with the woes, definitely gets stuck in your head. The first time I heard the woes in the chorus, I wasn't really feeling it, but it's so impactful at the end. Then we have the song Crooked Halos, which starts out with this acoustic guitar and clean vocals in the verse that kind of tricks you into thinking it's going to be a slower song. But the explosion of like this ghost-inspired riff in the chorus definitely proves you wrong. The hook is kind of cliche, but at the same time, it's pretty good. I think like they know it's cliche and they just make it work. And Tony's vocal performance just pulls it off. And verse 2 has a great rhythm to it, and the bridge has this emotional peak before dropping back into like a little acoustic-y section before it goes into the final chorus. I believe that the song Long Live the King, I could be wrong, but I believe it's about government corruption, and no matter who the king is, it's always going to be corrupt. It definitely brings a lot of moshing inspired energy to it. Even the verses have like this amped up build up quality going into a chorus with some pretty big chords, and then even heavier post chorus to it. The bridge has a lot of authority in the vocals that I liked a lot. I was really hoping for a big breakdown. I never got it. I mean, the song was good, so oh well, what are you going to do? Then we have the song Sufferer, which is about being there for each other. Like, I'd suffer for you, I hope you would suffer for me. And the drums and the verse and the chorus just stand out to me so much in this song. And the breakdown thing and the post-chorus hits just right. And then we get an extended version of it going into the bridge, and it just, that to me alone makes the song. Then we have the very sad song See You Alive, which starts out as like this acoustic ballad thing, and it's a conversation of somebody deciding not to commit suicide, and expresses the narrator's sadness and concern about like if they're the last person to see this person alive. And I believe that towards the end that person does decide to go through with it. It's very emotional, it's very sad, and 2020 and all the years so far afterwards have been very, very difficult on a lot of us. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a real thing for Tony, or maybe something that somebody went through that he knows. I don't know. It's just very heartfelt, and you could definitely feel the emotion in it. Then we have the song Weather, which is kind of about the same thing. It's about pushing through mental health struggles or using prescriptions to try and cover it up and just make it through. And it comes in pretty heavy, and the guitar drops out, but the drums just keep pushing through throughout the verse, and there's like these echoed vocals in the chorus that work really well. It's not too cheesy sounding like I thought it would be when I was reading the lyrics, but actually sounds pretty good. And the lyrics definitely hook you and they get stuck in your head, and it does become, unfortunately, it becomes a little repetitive over time because it's like 3 or 4 choruses, and I believe it's just 1 or 2 verses, or like a verse and a bridge. So yeah, the chorus just, it does become a little bit too much after a while. No Place Like Home, I believe, is about just being lonely, and it has a lot of references to being a kid, and to me, it's just, it has a very nostalgic feeling to it. It's almost like every part of this song lyrically is relatable to when I was a kid. Like, you turn on the TV so you don't feel too alone, and your mom has the radio on, and it's just kind of avoiding loneliness and growing up in that and still kind of feeling that way. And the music even reminds me of like mid 2000s easycore, which carries a lot of nostalgia for me too. I enjoyed this song quite a bit, even if it's just for that alone. Then we have the song Words for Hire, which I believe this is kind of like pointing a finger at the cliche token Instagram posts that is almost like expected of everybody to make, like when something bad happens in the world. Like if somebody does something really bad, and or like a company does something really bad, it's almost like everybody in the world has to post on social media saying, I'm not going to have anything to do with that company. And it's almost more like a marketing thing than people just not actually having anything to do with it. It's just, I don't know. I could be absolutely completely wrong. It's probably about imposter syndrome or something, and I'm stretching a little too far. But the verses have like this thick bass line to it that works really well with the vocals. And the vocal melody in the chorus is absolutely brilliant. Verse 2 just, it brings the aggression with really, really high distorted vocals. And the breakdown is exactly what I've been craving for throughout like this entire album so far. It's just so heavy and it's thick with atmosphere, and it's just so good. I believe the song Brainwash Podcast is pretty obvious what they're trying to get at, and boy, do they hit the nail on the head. The vocals are very frustrating, and the lyrics don't hold anything back. The chorus is an earworm with lots of words that rhyme, so it just flows so well, and it's really easy for it to get stuck in your head. And verse 2 has like this frantic sounding lead part with equally chaotic drums, and the bridge brings the heat with a breakdown fashion style thing and lots of dissonance and impressive growls from Tony. I mean, they get pretty low, a lot lower than I thought Tony would do or be capable of. I just didn't think he would go there in this album, and he did, and it works so well. Then we have the closing track, This Is the End, which is kind of, it's kind of fitting because it's the end of the album. It's got like these moany kind of vocals in the intro, which sounds like a little dramatic or theatrical. I mean, it doesn't sound as bad as I just made it sound, but it was a little weird for me. And Tony wears his heart on his sleeve lyrically, and he gets very personal, and he's really just speaking his mind. And the bass line and the vocals carry a lot of the weight in the verses, while big chords fill all the emotion in the chorus. The moaning comes back in the bridge, but it just sounds... it sounds so good. I see why it was in there. Like I said, in the intro, it was like, what the heck is this? But then once you get to the bridge, it all comes together, especially when the chorus hits again and you still kind of have that vocal thing going on all the way throughout the outro. And it's just, the lyrics are just great. I definitely feel you on this one, Tony. I know exactly where you're coming from. And this is a fantastic closing track. I absolutely loved this album. Sure, they didn't bring nearly as much intensity as they did to their debut album, The World Is In Your Way, but they managed to write emotionally heavy stuff, and they showed a more mature side to their songwriting without sounding like generic. Like, I felt like The World Is In Your Way, well, it still had some good emotion to it, but I felt like there was a lot more songs on there that were just fun. And sure, some of the songs on this, they are fun, but lyrically, all the songs in this are just lyrically, they're heavy, they're thick, they carry a lot of emotion, they're very real, and it's just stuff you can relate to, especially what's going on in the world today. But it's more specific, instead of being like, the world sucks and everything sucks. Like, Tony's like, this is what's going on in my side of the world, and it reaches you, and he does that very well. It communicates it fantastically to you. The one thing I really wanted more of on this album was just a little bit more riffage, because the guitar stuff, was fairly mellow. It wasn't nearly as dramatic as it was on the last album, but when they did incorporate the more technical stuff, I will say, because it happened a lot less frequently, it shined through a lot more, and you noticed it, and you got a lot more excited. When a breakdown came in, it was there, and it hit you, or where like this cool lead melody started playing through in like a chorus, you noticed it more, and it worked really well. So yeah, with all that said, I gotta give Upright Animals by Dragged Under a 8 out of 10. Now, for those of you who are going to go back and watch my The World Is In Your Way review, just keep in mind I gave that album a perfect 10 out of 10 because I was super hyped. I was talking to Tony a lot at that time. I just bought a guitar from him. I saw them live at Rest Your Pose before this album came out. So, I mean, I was pretty hyped for this. So, I don't know. I've re-listened to it again lately, and I'd probably give it like closer to like a 7.8, maybe a little bit more than this album. I don't think I like it more than this album, but it is still a great album. So yeah, if you go back and you rewatch that, just keep that in mind, that's why I gave it a perfect score. But I do enjoy this album more, I believe, just because it relates to me a lot more. But I want to know what you guys think. So leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of Upright Animals. Let me know what you would rate it and what your favorite song is. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like. If you want to help support me and my channel, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon. About like 93% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. So if you hate my videos and you're watching it, then yeah, I get it. But if you keep coming back, please consider subscribing. It helps me out so much, and I appreciate it more than you guys could ever imagine. And I hope you have a good rest of your day or night whenever you haven't been watching this, and I will talk to you guys next time.
I was trying to make it relying on